Welcome to the Widows Collective, where grief meets hope, healing, and community. I'm Lauren Lentz, grief coach, fellow widow, and the heart behind this space. There is life before loss, and then there is life after. If you're here, it likely means your life has been turned upside down by the death of your person. Maybe you've just found yourself in this new world that feels unrecognizable, or maybe you've been walking it for a while, trying to figure out what healing looks like now. I want you to know you are not alone. This podcast is a gathering place for widows living in the after. Together, we'll name the ache, honor the love, and share tools, truths, and stories that help you feel supported along the way. My hope is that every episode gives you a sense of community, comfort, and permission to meet yourself exactly where you are. Hello, and welcome back to episode 22, Wanting to be Seen, Scared to be Held. As I open the doors to reimagine my 12-week online group support for widows, there's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And some of you might know where I'm going with this. I touched on it briefly on Instagram the other day. But I want to extend the conversation because I think it's more prevalent than we realize. What I want to speak to today is this quiet tension so many of us widows carry. We want to be seen. We ache to be understood. We're tired of explaining ourselves, tired of editing our grief, tired of making other people comfortable, tired of being the strong one. And yet, the idea of actually being seen, of being witnessed in our grief, of letting someone look directly at the tenderness we're carrying can feel terrifying. Because being seen means exposure. It means vulnerability. It means you might come undone. It means the tears might start and you're not sure they'll stop. It means your voice might shake. It means someone might see the depth of it, the anger, the despair, the envy, the confusion. And after loss, exposure can feel threatening because you already know what it feels like to lose something essential. You already know what it feels like to have the ground disappear beneath you. So when someone starts to see you, and I mean really see you, your body doesn't interpret that as neutral. It interprets it as risk. Risk of disappointment, risk of attachment, risk of being misunderstood. So today I want to talk about that space, that in between, wanting to be seen and being scared to be held. And if you notice your body responding even as I say that, a tightening, a resistance, maybe even a quiet yes, I'm asking for you to just stay with me. There's nothing wrong with what you're experiencing. I remember after Kevin died, people would say, "Let me know if you need anything." And I didn't know how to answer that because what I needed was impossible. I needed him back. And anything short of that felt insufficient. But below that, deeper than that, there was a part of me that didn't want people to see how disoriented I felt. The rage I experienced some days, my impatience, my jealousy of other people's lives being untouched by loss, how scared I was of the future. I could talk about logistics, I could talk about my son, I could talk about paperwork, but letting someone else see the raw grief, that felt like stepping out without armor. And when you've already lost so much, armor feels necessary. When your partner dies, something intimate fractures. The person who knew your rhythms, who saw your worst days and your best days, who regulated you without either of you realizing it, is gone. And now your nervous system is on high alert. Loss teaches the body that attachment can disappear. So of course your system becomes cautious about attaching again, even in friendship, even in support. Being seen means letting people witness your pain, admitting you're struggling, allowing someone into a space that used to belong to just the two of you. That's not small. That's sacred territory. Of course, your nervous system hesitates. It's trying to protect you from more loss, from vulnerability. So I want to name it clearly. Group support can feel scary. You might wonder, what if I cry the whole time? What if my grief is heavier than everyone else's? What if they're all further along than I am? What if I don't belong? What if I say something awkward? What if I open up and it doesn't feel safe? Or even, what if I start to feel lighter and that scares me? These fears are real. They're valid. They're protective. Your body is asking, is this safe? Will I be judged? Will I be misunderstood? Will I be abandoned? And we honor that. We don't belittle it. There is nothing weak about hesitating. There's nothing weak about being nervous or anxious. It makes sense. And there's always an and. There is something powerful that happens when you sit, even virtually, in a space where no one flinches when you say his name, where you don't have to preface your grief with, sorry, I'm feeling emotional today, where someone across the screen nods and says, me too. There's something regulating about that. Your body realizes, I'm not the only one. I'm not too much. I'm not broken. And slowly, sometimes almost imperceptibly, something softens. It doesn't erase loneliness overnight, but it does lighten your load. It widens your world just enough to let a little air in. Community doesn't replace your person. It doesn't fill that specific ache, but it reminds you that you are still allowed to be supported, still allowed to lean, still allowed to be held. So I want to pause here. Ask yourself, where am I craving to be seen, but hesitating to let myself be held? Maybe it's the thought of sharing with women you haven't yet met. Maybe it's imagining sitting in a circle and feeling raw and not knowing how you respond. Maybe it's the quiet question, do I even belong here? Maybe it's the fear that showing up fully could change the way you see yourself. I want you to know there is no pressure to join something you're not ready for. And fear in this space doesn't mean something is wrong. It doesn't mean you're supposed to say no. It doesn't mean you won't belong. Fear shows you care. Fear shows what's on the line, and what's on the line matters. That you're risking something important, your vulnerability, your heart, your trust. And that is a sacred signal, not a warning sign. So let's take a moment together and breathe in wherever you are. And imagine that space where it's safe to be seen. Take a deep exhale out and let your nervous system know it's okay to be held here. It's okay to soften. Just notice, no fixing, no forcing, just awareness. I want to ask you, if you could be seen without consequence, what would you say? What would you let out? Who might you let in? Sometimes the courage to take the first step into a group isn't about being ready. It's about being willing to let yourself be supported over time, willing to show up more than once, willing to let trust build slowly, willing to let yourself be known in layers, because this kind of holding doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens week by week, conversation by conversation, tear by tear, nod by nod. And over time, what once felt terrifying can begin to feel steady. It's a doorway to a new way of being in grief, one where you're not carrying it all alone. If this conversation stirred something in you, especially if you feel that quiet fear around group support, I want you to know that you are not the only one. You are not alone in that. Every single woman who has ever joined one of my groups has felt some version of this, and I've felt it too. Wanting it and fearing it or being hesitant. It's why Reimagine is small and intentional. It's structured, it's held, it's gentle. Although always encouraged to share, you are never forced to. Listening counts and your pace is honored. And sometimes the bravest thing we can do is let someone sit beside us in the after. If you'd like more details, they're in the show notes. And whether you ever join a group or not, I hope you remember this. Wanting to be seen is normal and natural, and it's not weakness. It's human. And being held doesn't diminish your strength. It deepens it. Thank you for listening to this really short episode that has just been sitting on my heart lately. I wanted the opportunity to speak to this quiet truth that lives within so many of us. Until our next episode, big hugs and lots of love. You've been listening to the Widows Collective. I'm Lauren Lentz, and it means so much to me that you spent this time here today. If you found comfort or connection in today's episode, I invite you to please subscribe, leave a rating, or share it with someone who might need a little support. You can also follow me on Instagram at I'm Sorry We're Friends and join my email list at laurenlentz.com to explore my one-to-one grief coaching, group program, retreats, and other tools designed to help widows navigate loss with understanding and guidance. I hope you'll join me next week for another conversation where we'll continue exploring grief, healing, and ways to reimagine life after loss. I'm sorry you're here, and I'm so grateful that you are. Thank you for being a part of this community. Your presence is an act of courage and self-compassion, and I'm honored to walk this path alongside you.